My name is Mwamba. I work with the Zambian NGO think tank called Center for Trade Policy and Development. Well, we have decided to get involved with Tax Justice Bus Tour with Christian Aid and the Church Action on Poverty because we believe the issues that these two European partners are working on are very much in line with the very similar tax issues that we sort of work on in Zambia. And we're happy that we've got partners and other groups outside our country, outside Zambia, that are working in solidarity with our issues. I think with all the past, historical development cooperation issues around debt, around aid, and also the continuous push for poor countries like Zambia to be independent, tax, I think, and the importance of our countries to be able to raise their own money, their own local revenue, to be independent of aid, to be independent from the shackles of debt, makes tax issues even much more significant. And we believe that tax revenue is the only way that poor countries can assume that independence. They can, raise their own money from their countries without being dependent on aid and without being heavily indebted. So for us, tax is at the core of the development agenda of most of our countries. Well, obviously, first of all, we are happy that there are groups here in the UK and also in Europe that are also fighting similar causes. We can only encourage them because I think tax avoidance, tax evasion, of course, it has the most devastating effect on poor countries, but for two reasons. Europe and UK in particular are also affected by these negative tax practices of big companies. Secondly, because a lot of our aid that comes to African countries comes from taxpayers, from people like you and others here in the UK, they should be very much interested in making sure that that aid is actually benefiting the poor people. One way of doing that is channeling some of that aid to build the independence, the capacities of our government to raise their own resources. But also it's commonly known, most of the evidence is that for countries that raise most of their money from tax, they build their own local systems of democracy. The citizens have a bigger say. So European citizens, UK citizens will actually be helping Zambian citizens to take up that space, to have that voice, if they continue sort of working and fighting in the tax justice campaign. So there is both a direct stake for UK citizens and an indirect one in that sense.